Welcome to Lesson 2, Circuit Playground Express, Topic 3, working with buttons and slide switch, as well as showing how you can use a command, a function called serial print, along with the serial monitor to investigate values. We'll be using a lot of that in future lessons. So let's get to it. So we have our Circuit Playground library imported. Then we've started our circuit playground with serial playground.begin. So now we're ready to kind of do something with this. Now the buttons are considered input, which means they're a means of providing information to the circuit playground. So it doesn't produce anything visible to us. So in order to kind of investigate some of these other components, we have to take advantage of the fact that there's a command in Arduino called serial print that lets us actually print information. So you might think, as you look at the circuit playground, where does this information get printed to? There's no screen on the Circuit Playground Express. That is correct. Serial print isn't meant for you to display on the circuit playground, but meant for you to use as a developer, a way to investigate certain parts of your program. So let's just explore serial print first to get comfortable with it. So serial print. And we'll simply say hello. Okay. So we're going to run our program. Again, and switching over to the camera real quick, you'll notice there's nothing on the circuit playground. Again, there's nothing that you're going to see from the serial print. So you might say, well, how is that useful? How can I see this word hello? Well, if you go to Tools, there's something called a serial monitor. And there you go. So you can see the word hello printing sideways, and you can see from the little scroll bar, it's kind of just continuing. Going back to the idea that this void loop is a continuous execution of this code until you actually turn off the circuit playground. So that's serial print. So you might say, well, it's kind of hard to read things going sideways. Well, there is another version called serial print line. That's an LN. This is not a 1. That's LN for line. And let's run this one. All right, so let's open up our serial monitor again. And you can see now the words hello come down. And you can see it's blinking because it's continually printing hello to this window called the serial monitor. Right. So this will be a great way for us to investigate what's happening with some of these other components that don't have a visual output to them. Again, a button is an input. So let's go ahead and close this out. And let's go back to our reference guide website. And we can see here, let's click on left button. Start with left button. It doesn't take any parameters. And it returns a value that's called Boolean. It's going to return true if that button is actually pressed, or false otherwise. So that's a little bit of what we're going to investigate here. What actually comes back to us when we press the left button. So let's get to our code. So inside of here, instead of doing serial print line of hello, we're going to do serial print line of circuit playground dot left button. Let's investigate what's happening here when we actually press the left button. You can do this. This might feel a little uncomfortable to actually do one function inside of another function. Again, if you recall, we talked about when you see the parentheses, it kind of lets you know that this is a function. This is the print line function. So the print line function is using the value that comes back from the left button function to display it. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. And let's bring up our serial monitor. And what you can see here is a bunch of zeros coming up. So you might say, oh, zeros, that doesn't seem very useful. I'm trying to do a little screen maintenance here. So let's see if we can put that there. I'm gonna have to, okay, there we go. All right, so the reason I want to show you this, because remember, this is the top up here. Hold here, which makes this the left button. I'm going to press the left button, and notice what pops up on the serial monitor, a 1 or a 0. 1, 0, 0, 1. Now, I know on the website it says something about true and false. 0 can be considered a value of false. 1, me pressing it, is a value of true. So I'm going to take my finger off. That's 0, 1, that's press. So now we have a way to kind of see, did the person press the button? Now I'm not going to do the same thing for the right button. I think you kind of figure out what that does. But I am going to switch over to another input device, bring it back, which can be useful, the slide switch. So the slide switch also offers this idea of if the slide switch is to the left, then you're going to get a value of true, which we saw returns the value of 1. If the slide switch is to the right, it gives us a 0 or a value of false. This one also does not take any parameters. So let's try that one out. So instead of button, we're going to put slide switch, and let's give that a try. So let's pull up our serial monitor. I think I still have it open. I do. So you can see here we're getting a bunch of zeros, which if you go back to the website, you'll see zeros means the switch is to the right. I'm going to see if I could bring the circuit playground close to you so you can see it on the camera. But it's so small. I don't know if you're going to be able to. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on that enough. But again, I can tell you it is to the right. I'm going to switch it over to the left. And you can see there on the serial monitor, we now have a 1. And also notice this is not like the buttons where you have to constantly keep it pressed towards the right. It's a switch. It stays in the position that you change it. So to the left is a 1. To the right is 0. So now we have 3 ways of getting input from the user. One with the left button, with the right button, and now the slide switch. Let's go back to our presentation. So again, this was lesson 2, continuing on with our exploration of the circuit playground and its various components. In topic 3, we explore buttons and slide switch, as well as the serial print and serial monitor. Those are some very handy tools to explore the components as well as your variables, which we're going to talk in a future lesson. Thank you.